I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling a little bit scared. Does anyone get that reference? Because let me tell you something, I am about to fangirl. I've been looking so forward to this specific celebrity panel. Please, without further ado, give a big, warm Manchester welcome to the beautiful, the talented, the vivacious Miss Elizabeth Berkeley! Keep it going for Elizabeth Berkeley, everybody! Looking fabulous.
Hello, everyone. I love being here in Manchester with you all. This is my first time in Manchester.
Is it your first time? Wow. Tell us how the fan interactions have been going so far, because I know you've been very busy.
I have had so much fun. I mean, it's such a joy to meet people who've either grown up with certain projects, and you know, there are a lot of things that I've done that, interestingly, in pop culture, that have like stood the test of time in an interesting way through different changes in the culture too. So I've been doing this a long time. I love what I do, and I've been doing it since I was a kid. And really,
when did you start? How young?
I started modeling when I was 9, but dancing was always the big love. And then like 17 dance lessons a week, which I've been able to use in my other work from time to time. We can't mention.
I won't be specific, but a lot of what you've done has become like cult classics, for sure.
Exactly. But so then I started modeling at 9 and acting around 13, doing stage. But I lived in Michigan, very far from Hollywood, and I didn't have any connections. I didn't have a famous uncle or aunt or someone to help. It's just through blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of hard work, and the belief from my parents. Yeah.
Were they always very supportive of those dreams? Yeah.
Very supportive. They always took my dreams seriously. It was just a matter of time and how to get there, really.
Did you think you'd end up more in the dance space of things or more in the acting space? Did you have a preference?
I really wanted to use all of it. So that's why like Broadway at first was a big dream, because then I could sing, dance, and act. So I've done a lot of that, and London theater as well. You guys know Eddie Izzard? So Eddie and I starred in the West End in a show that Sir Peter Hall directed, just bringing and sharing the love for my Brits.
What's that vibe like? I'm assuming it's a lot different than, say, film or TV. We were just talking to Clive Sneeden about how his background in theater, it was like every time he did a performance, he could then improve the next night. It's a different audience. How's that vibe?
When you're doing stage, you're doing 8 shows a week. So there's always something new to try that next day, or some days you have like 2 shows a day. And film, especially if it's a smaller film, you've got to get it in 2 takes. And then TV, you're in front of a studio audience, and sometimes there's no audience. So you really feed off of the energy of an audience in both live theater and when you're filming, and lucky enough to have people there, especially if you're doing a comedy.
Obviously, I grew up watching you. I was just explaining backstage as I'm fangirl. My husband's like, I've never seen you like this. It's embarrassing. So I'll apologize. But I was saying that I was homeschooled. So to watch a program where there were kids, at school, was very exciting to me. And I feel like I kind of grew up with that entire vibe. So tell us about that part of your life and maybe your castmates as well.
Yeah, I mean, I am still such good friends with Mario, Tiffany, Mark Paul. I mean, we are like siblings, really. Like, we were 15 when we met, and we've grown up together. We're now parents together. We have our kids know each other. It's like it's a family, and really, really special. And our dreams started coming true together. It was our first big job for all of us, and we really were the age we were playing.
Never happens anymore, does it?
No. Usually they're 25 playing 15.
Like Grease. Remember? Everyone's 50 and they're playing 16-year-olds? Yeah.
Exactly.
We did notice that, yes. Well, I have to, again, fangirl over something that it's not obscure by any means, but there's a movie that my sisters and it's like our religion. It's a movie that you did with Goldie and Bette and Diane.
Yes.
Tell us about that experience.
Well, Goldie Hawn, Bette Midler, and Diane Keaton are geniuses, comedic geniuses, and women who have been through every high and low in the industry. So for me to get to not only meet them but collaborate with them was a dream come true for sure.
It's one of my favorites for sure. I'm wondering if who's actually seen the film, because there are some, really youngsters in the audience. Yes, I will ask you though, because I'm fangirling, I'm gonna have to put it back on you. Is there anyone that you've met at this Comic-Con or any other event where you were starstruck? An actor, a musician?
Well, honestly, speaking of Greece, I met John Travolta at a past Comic-Con. We were one table away from each other, and I'm sorry, he's incredible, brilliant, and being a dancer myself, I was like dreaming of some number we could do in the movie someday.
Was he just lovely? Was he very warm?
Absolutely lovely. A class act, a generous soul, kind, all the things you would think that John Travolta would be.
And as far as your fan base, because hello, I mean, what you've done has spanned generations and it's globally recognized and adored, including the fans here in Manchester. What are your fan interactions like? Is there a specific age genre, or is it sort of everything and everything?
It really spans, like you said, it's multi-generational because, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. It's multi-generational, which is actually really special. Either things have meant a great deal to people in a symbolic way with regards to their childhood. And I think, childhood is such a special time in all of our lives, and, to be a part of something creative that had an impact and was entertaining or meaningful emotionally, or where there were connections made through that, those are core memories. And so it's something I take seriously. It's something that's meaningful to me when I interact with fans, because I know it has meant a lot. Not just entertainment, if that makes sense. And then, I love, when we do projects, we do them to entertain you and tell stories that maybe it's a different narrative in the character's life, but still has an impact emotionally to let someone know they're not alone and going through something. So it's one of the things I love about acting.
And the characters that we see, especially when we're growing up, like you said, those formidable years, we start to feel like we know all of you guys, right? So, my husband and I have watched, Tiffany in White Collar, and I'm so proud of Mario Lopez for doing all of the presenting work that he does so well. But do fans come up to you and say that they feel like they know you? And if they do, what's that like?
It's okay, because the sweetness of Saved by the Bell, that show holds something really dear to people, and so there's something comforting about that show. But I think everyone has different memories associated with it. So it's also why I think it's important. I want to protect and preserve that for people.
As far as being a mom, you mentioned a lot of your actor friends are also parents now. Are your kids phased by it? Are their kids phased by it? Or is it just like, mom's off to work again, dad's off to work?
I think it's so normal, right? I know that for a lot of my friends, Mark Paul, Mario, and Tiffany, who also have children, they all know each other, and it's just normal. It's what they've grown up with, so it's not anything special to them.
They don't know any different.
No,
I do love to hear
exactly.
that. Well, guys, we're going to ask you to come up and ask a few questions if you'd like. And just again, not going to be specific to any particular project or character name, because we are all supporting the ongoing strikes. If you want to have a question, come on up over to the microphone here. Don't be shy. Another question for me, though. We talked about being starstruck at these conventions. Is there any time you've had a reunion with castmates? Like even at this one, do you know any of the other actors?
I know a couple of actors, Zachary and Seth, Jake, a few people, which it's just always fun because in our industry, unless you're on a job with someone, it's hard to keep up with people. We're all traveling around the world working, and it's like definitely like high school reunions.
All right, we've got a question here in the front row. Love that shirt.
Hi. My question to you is, if you got asked to reprise your roles standing alone, would you?
Okay, let's rephrase.
No, I like your question. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can talk about specific projects with this new. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy to, but I have to go by the rules of the. Sorry.
I'll rephrase. If you had an upcoming role that came to be and it involved your dance background, would you be interested?
I would be interested. It would have to tell the right story.
Agreed.
Some things you want to just leave because you feel you're complete with it.
Because that certain project was, as I said to you earlier, was one of my top favourites.
Yes.
So I do agree with you, the story would have to be told correctly.
Yeah, no, because otherwise, to revisit anything, you want to do it justice.
And so many times it doesn't happen, right? You're like, why did they mess with that?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I know I get annoyed when I see something I love and they pick it up where it left off or try to redo it and it just doesn't land.
Great question, thank you. Thank you very much. If I can interject with the question, talking about franchises and things that have lots of sequels, Mission Impossible, Star Wars, what sort of franchise do you follow or do you like anything like that? Harry Potter? You have several.
I would say Harry Potter. My son is a big Harry Potter fan, so I am now one. So yeah, there you go.
Lovely, thank you.
Again.
Hi there.
So my question for you is, this might be a difficult one. Out of all the roles you portrayed over the years, which would you say is the most memorable one?
Good question.
There's just too
You
many.
know what? I will tell you that on stage, there's a role that I did opposite Ethan Hawke, and it was on Broadway, and that was truly one of my most memorable. It's unfortunate that stage is not captured on film forever, but it was at the Queen's Theatre on Shaftesbury and in the West End, and obviously being here, I'm sorry, that one was on Broadway, but I'm thinking about another one with Eddie Izzard. We did the Lenny Bruce story at the Queen's Theatre on Shaftesbury, and so a couple of my theater experiences have really been so powerful. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Love your jacket. How was Ethan Hawke, by the way? What a talent.
Ethan is incredible. I jumped in and had 3 days to learn the role. They were replacing someone that was originally cast, and I had to memorize it all and learn the blocking and jump right in. And it was a lot, but he was a brilliant scene partner, as you can imagine. For those of you who are fans of Ethan Hawke.
Great expectations. He's done so many amazing things. Come on up.
Hi, Elizabeth. I'm just wondering, what advice would you have for someone aspiring to be an actor, to perform, just being on stage and film and television? What advice would you give to someone aspiring to be an actor, let's say,
Well, I think in a time where a lot of people are not really serious about the craft and doing their training, the one thing I would say is it's important. A lot of people try to get by just, let's say, being a personality on YouTube or Instagram, and that can only take you so far. I would say to truly embrace the craft and take scene study classes and also work on and maybe possibly even write your own things, because it's empowering to not just be at the behest of other people, to say when the time is right for an opportunity for you, to really build and create your own opportunities if it's something that someone might have a gift for writing or may not know yet, but to really give it a try, I think is really important in this day and age, because you can get noticed in so many different ways. But at the end of the day, the technique that you have from classes will carry you through anything. No matter what medium, stage, TV, or film, no matter what type of project, no matter what time period, having that is the thing that sustains it and gives longevity to a career.
Thank you very much.
Advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, round of applause for that advice. I'm telling you, it's like we've had acting master classes all day. Everyone's been so giving in what they've been saying. I hope you guys are writing this down. Get a question here from this lovely lady.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
I'm not allowed to say this, but you are very beautiful in real life.
Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you.
My question for you is, do you have any future projects coming up that you're allowed to talk about?
I know that I can't talk about that here, and I wish I could. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I would, believe me, soon.
Okay. Well, I've got a follow-up question. You said this is your first time in Manchester, and how are you enjoying it?
I love it. The people are so friendly, genuine, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy.
Hi there. Hi, Power Ranger.
What's your favourite weird film you worked on?
What's your favorite weird film you worked on? Give me weird gigs that you've had that you thought, this is weird.
It's a good question. I'm just trying to think.
You can name them specifically. I don't think we're allowed to name anything specific.
Trying to think. How about a skill I've had to learn that I didn't know how to do was horseback riding. It's not weird, but I only had a couple days to learn how to do it and make it look like I had been doing it my whole life. So that's something about movie magic that is kind of wild. Whether it's fencing or stunts or a new skill you have to learn because that character is so good at it, you have to work hard to make something look like it's been a part of you all along. Is that interesting?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take two more questions and then we'll let her get back to the autographs and photo options. You've been busy. You've got a lot of fans here in Manchester.
I love it. I love it.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
So my question for you is, have you got any good anecdotes about working with Carl McLaughlin?
Oh my goodness. He's a very supportive scene partner. Good human. Unfortunately, he's not here. I was looking forward to a little bit of a reunion, but I've seen him from time to time in Los Angeles, so it's always nice when you get to bump into an old friend. Yeah, he's a good guy, and he takes the work seriously, and I appreciate that, because I come with my A game, and it's nice when you have a scene partner who does the same.
Great question. Thank you. All right, no pressure. It's our final question.
Hi.
So there's a film that you did in the 90s, won't mention it. You kind of got a lot of backlash after it, kind of Hollywood kind of really nasty to it. I'm wondering, how has your relationship with that movie changed over the years? Have you found peace with that?
Yes, thank you. You know, we all go through things in life that different trials and tribulations. Some, in that case, were public. Some are personal. So I think that nobody goes unscathed. We all have to overcome. For me, actually, I was speaking to someone, a wonderful fan, just how both the role I played and personal part of my journey, and I say part of the journey because it's not something I struggle with now. It's been a piece of it, but we all are given tests of faith and moments to rise or not rise, and I chose to rise. And now it's interesting that has been cemented as a cult film that people love. So the lesson to that is you never know, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you for being so polite.
And I'm proud of it. So
Yeah.
thank you.
question for me. We're talking about, backlash and fame and things like that. You, on your social media, yes, I'm lightly stalking her, of course, you keep everything very positive and you let people get a little glimpse into your life. But what are your thoughts on social media? Tedious or helpful, harmful?
Well, I think we all kind of feel the same way. It's like a love-hate with it. It's I love it because it is one way to keep up on certain people we admire or love, or it's an easy way to stay in touch, or it's just fun too, and learn and explore new things. But sometimes I don't like it. I think it's a distraction from just daily living, and so for that reason, I sometimes just wish we didn't have it anymore. I just think we can get too caught up in, did I post today? Should I post today? Like, it should just be if you feel moved to do so,
And obviously you guys need to be following Elizabeth Berkeley on social media to keep up with all of her amazing work. Any final words for your fans here in Manchester?
Just my gratitude to you all, and thank you for supporting my work all these years, and can't wait for you to see a lot of great things to come. Thank you.
Manchester, keep it going for Elizabeth Berkeley. Show her some love. Thank you, everybody. Right, Comic-Con Manchester, something tells me that you're ready for this upcoming panel. Are we excited? Are we stoked? Manchester, are we ready? Please give a warm Manchester welcome to Zachary Levi.
Hey, let's give it up for Val, everyone.
The beautiful Val. What's up, Manchester? So listen. Have any of you ever been to a panel that I've done at a convention before? Wait, show of hands. Just a few of you. The rest of you are in for a treat. I'm going to try not to curse. That happens. I hope I don't get fined for that. I know there's children around. They're going to learn these words eventually. You're probably speaking to them in some of these words sometimes. So I just give them a little preface. Sometimes I curse. Sometimes I get emotional. Sometimes these things get pretty emotional. So I might cry a little bit. But crying's a good thing, right? That's cathartic. We all need to cry a little bit more, right? We need to get those emotions out of us. We do. Especially guys. Guys, we hold on to these things too much. You gotta be able to show those things. So I don't do moderated panels. I really just want to hear from you guys and answer questions that you have. And do we have a queue? Have we asked anybody to queue up? I think this is the microphone, correct? This is it? So if you have a question, oh wow, right out of gate, I love it. Leave it to a Power Ranger to start things off. Hold on, but before you go, I need to give you guys, feel free to queue up if you have questions. You can queue up behind these guys. So I'm sure some of you guys have heard that in Hollywood, we're in the middle of a strike right now. All the actors and all the writers are striking. So I'm grateful that I'm allowed to be here at the convention. There's all these weird little stipulations that are going on now with the conventions. And so one of those stipulations is, I'm not allowed to talk about, this is so dumb, I'm not allowed to talk about any of my previous work. I'm not allowed to talk about movies that I may be a superhero in. I'm not allowed to talk about TV shows that I may have been a nerd who worked at a Best Buy kind of amalgam. I'm not allowed to talk about any animated princess movies that I was fantastic in as the best prince ever. I'm not allowed to talk. I'm not allowed to talk about those things. So that's all I can say. If you have questions, I might have to turn it right back around on you and ask you what you thought of these various things. Or we can talk about all kinds of other things that I like mental health, if you guys want to talk about that, or loving each other. Actually, you know what? Do me a favor. Everybody right now, look to the persons to the left and right of you and say, I'm so glad that you're alive, and I'm so glad that you're here right now. Everybody, even out there, you know, say, I'm so glad that you're alive, and I'm so glad you're here right now. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? So, without further ado, Blue Ranger, what is your question?
It's about, I don't know if it passes what you said.
Say it anyway.
But have you ever had a crush on someone that you've worked with?
Oh, that's fine. That's a totally excellent question. How old are you?
10.
Leave it to the 10-year-old.
to jump right into set romance. That's fantastic. I've had a crush on lots of people that I've worked. I've been really blessed. I've gotten to work with lots of very beautiful, talented, intelligent, charming women. And I've had crushes on a good few of them. And those shall remain a secret. It was a good try though. It was a great question. Thank you, young man, thank you. Next. Yeah, you can give him applause for that. Yes, sir. Can you just tilt the mic up? There you go. There you go.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm an aspiring actor. What advice would you give to someone like me?
I will give you the same advice that, and I really do believe that this is the best advice I can give you as an aspiring actor. But I also believe it applies to really anyone doing anything, trying to aspire to any vocation, any job. Go to therapy. I'm serious. Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. And by the way, I know, like in the States, you know, therapies, you know, tends to be like a big thing everybody talks about. And in the UK, I know it's not as big, but it's getting there. Mental health, guys. Mental health is the most important thing in the world. I can't stress it enough. If we can all heal all of our hearts and minds, this world would be so fucking groovy. But we got to start there. You got to love yourself. You got to love yourself. So, if you want to be the best actor, or pilot, or prime minister, or chef, or whatever it is, the best version of you makes the best version of that. And therapy will help you become the best version of you. Cool?
Thank you, Zach.
You're very welcome. Mr. Lebowski? Oh, that's me. I literally thought this was the big Lebowski. I'm like, no, that's not. That's me. You just need some cheese puffs. That's amazing. There you go. Now it makes sense. I got you. Now you look like somebody that I kind of recognize from something I may or may not have done. Okay. Yes. Bring it. Say it anyway. Of that certain show? You know, I think my favorite part of that certain show where I played a nerd who fixed people's computers. I mean, I may have. I don't know. It's very great. It's kind of my favorite thing about most of the roles that I get to play, which is I've been so blessed that I get surrounded with incredible human beings, an incredible cast and crew. And we fight through to make something that's excellent. You know, we strive into that. And that whole family, that whole, you know, of that particular show are wonderful and still my family. And I very much am looking forward to maybe one day making a movie version of that show. Because I think that show, wow, this is going to be so fun. That show really lends itself to going and making little movies, you know? Every episode was like a little action movie anyway, so might as well do that. And I really do think the fans, I think we all deserve to have a little bit of a wrap up after the cliffhanger, the emotional cliffhanger that was the end of that show. That, you know, I understand why a lot of people were very polarized on that, because it was like, well, what did we just invest 5 years of our lives into with this couple? What did we do? Do they end up together? Do they not? You know? So I think we all deserve to have a little button on that. Yeah. Thanks, great question. Yeah. Hello.
So, obviously you were in an animated Disney film.
I was in an animated film, yes. A few of them actually.
From that franchise, but not your film, do you have any other favourite character or film from that?
Oh man, I would say that, like, growing up, I was a fan of all of those musicals and all of those movies. Aladdin was like, you know, that was kind of like, particularly for a young boy, like that was the first time we had that. Because you all girls, you had, you know, plenty of the princesses that would come through, and they were all fantastic, and I love that. But Aladdin was so fun, he was so cool, and I love the kind of, you know, rags to riches of it all, and he had a pure heart. But Robin Williams' Genie is probably the greatest animated character of, I mean, I don't know, it's so good. So I would say that character was, and I would quote him all the time. I would sing all those songs, like, yeah, it's a great one. My pleasure. I should have known the type of question based on the ears that you're wearing on the top of your head. Hi, hello, yeah?
Do you miss Yvonne Strahovski and will you be working with her again soon?
I do. I miss Vaughn and Josh and Adam and Sarah and everybody. I mean, it's a wonderful, and I do hope we get to work together soon. I hope that it's on the movie of that show. This is so stupid. I hope it's on the movie of that show. But if not that, I hope it's something else. Yeah, she's wonderful.
Will you reunite?
What's that?
Will you reunite them? Like,
Yeah, reunite and doing a movie or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Hello, sir. Hello, little one.
Hi, this is Jasmine.
Hello, Jasmine.
I'm working after one of your favourite Disney characters.
Oh, well, you just learned. Do you have any other question? Okay. Well, lovely to meet you. I love the honesty. Anything else? No, we're good. We're fine.
Hi again.
Was it George?
Yeah, it was George.
Yes, George! George, what is the island that you're from? Orkney. The island of Orkney.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know how far everybody else traveled, but George traveled from the island of Orkney 8 hours by boat to get to Aberdeen, and then 10 hours drive or train.
It was both.
It was both. Well, regardless, 10 hours from Aberdeen. 18 hours this guy traveled just to be here. Come on, let's give it up for George. What's your question, George?
So, in the movie that got a sequel in March,
Well done.
March,
It's fun. It's like wordplay now, isn't it?
how is the family of the March sequel movie?
That family also incredible. Also a family that we're very tired. I mean, in both versions of the family, the younger versions of the family and the older versions of the family, we would all have barbecues and go bowling, and we wanted to keep that. It's important, I think, as an actor when you're taking on a role. If you are that family, you want to represent that as best you can. So, and they're wonderful people, wonderful.
Awesome. Am I allowed to ask one more question?
Go for it. Why not?
What was it like switching from the younger version of the March sequel character and you?
What was it like? Well, I mean, a lot of just fun camera tricks and stuff, Like we would be shooting on whatever the location was, and young Asher would say the magic words that I am not allowed to say right now. And he would say the magic word, and then we would hold, we'd pause, and then they'd put a bunch of smoke in the frame, and then I would run in there, and then I'd, kind of do one of these things. In fact, in the scene where I'm about to go, kind of toward the end of the movie, where we had that transformation, and our mom, played by Marta, she's like, no, I want to see, real Billy. I want to see him. And so I transform him into him, and then I transform back. You might notice in the movie, I kind of have my eye closed a little, one eye closed a little bit when I come back. I don't know why they used that take, but it's because all that smoke was getting in my eyes when I was coming back. And so I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. And then off to go save the world. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for answering the questions.
My pleasure.
Again, I love you.
Thank you. I love you too, George. One more time for George, everybody. 18 hours. Woo. I don't know that I would. That's so, the commitment. Anyway, yes, sir. You can tilt that down. Perfect. Here's Dad in for the rescue. Hello, young man. Hi. I like your Green Day shirt. You're welcome.
If you could have dinner with any character you played, who would it be and why?
And I go, what?
If you had dinner with any character you were, who would it be and why?
If I could redo it, if I could play it. Oh, have dinner. Oh, that's a good question. What would I have dinner with? I think I would probably have dinner with my nerdy computer fix-it guy. because basically that wasn't acting. I don't know if anybody knows this. They paid me to be me. And since I'm a narcissist, sitting there next to myself would be, no, I think we would have a really fun conversation. Because all the things that nerdy guy was into, I was also into. All the video games, all the comic books, all the movies, all the everything. So we would talk about all that stuff. I don't know that I would have a lot in common with Big Red Super Guy. You know what I mean? Like, a little bit, like we both want to make the world a better place, but he's actually, 16, 17 inside. I guess I kind of am too. Anyway, so probably nerdy computer fixing guy. Thank you so much. Oh.
So my question is, what's the best life lesson you learned about yourself or people around you?
The best life lesson that I've learned about myself or people around me. When I was 37, which is just a short 6 years ago, although there was a pandemic in there, so it feels like an eternity. But I had a massive breakdown, a mental breakdown. And I wrote about it in a book called Radical Love that unfortunately I don't think is really available in the UK yet. But I had a massive breakdown. I didn't want to live anymore. And I didn't know why. And I went to very life-saving therapy. And one of the biggest takeaways that I got from that was that I didn't love myself. I didn't even know what it really meant to love myself. And I didn't realize that I had been talking to myself. Like the self-talk that we all have, the way that we talk to and about ourselves in our own minds and in our own hearts. Guys, you gotta be really mindful of that. Because it shouldn't be negative. You shouldn't be assaulting yourself and putting yourself down. And I had a therapist ask me, they said, how do you talk to yourself? And I was like, well, if I screw up, I'm like, you idiot, and whatever. I mean, I would. And then he said, well, do you talk like that? Would you talk like that to anybody that you love, your sisters? And I'm like, no, God, no, I would never want to talk like that. And they said, well, then why do you do that to yourself? And in that moment, I had this light bulb. I was like, oh my God, I really genuinely don't. I talk to myself like a human being that I don't love, that I don't value. And that is, guys, I cannot stress enough. That is like the gold. If you can figure out how to treat yourself with patience and kindness and empathy and respect. What? Here come the tears. I told you tears were gonna come. If you can do that, if you can teach yourself how to love yourself like that. And it doesn't mean, by the way, be a narcissist. It doesn't mean like make everything about you. In fact, quite opposite. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But recognize that you are valuable. You are valuable merely because you are, because you exist, because you're here right now. You are worthy of occupying the space that you inhabit in this life and in this world. And because of that, you are worthy of that love. Love yourself. It's so worth it. And then when you can love everybody else so much better, so much more efficiently. And that's how we change the world. That's the revolution. So that's it.
Hi. We know you're always computer fixing nerd guy and Big Red Super guy. My question is, there's a role that you have as a, I'm trying to think of the word.
Oh yeah, come on, adjectives.
A big boss guy in the office who goes feral over energy drinks.
Yeah, who drinks like some weird cola and goes mad.
One of my favorite roles,
Man, I loved playing that
That's
role.
amazing.
It's one of the biggest departures I've gotten to do, and it was such a fun role to play.
It's such a jump from what we're used to with you to that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
yeah. Oh yeah, very much not Chuck.
Is there any, literally.
Yeah.
Is there any anecdotes or memories you have from set Office Guy?
I mean, not really. I mean, that was a crazy, like, fast guerrilla shoot. Like that movie came together very, very fast, very last minute, shoestring budget. And the whole thing was basically, I can't remember. I think we were in Birmingham, Alabama. The sister city to Birmingham, and we were in Birmingham, Alabama, and there was like an office building that was basically vacant, and so we just took over this office building and then shot on all the different floors, and half the time the power wasn't working, like it was that kind of stuff. But it was a really fun little adventure.
Thank you. And also, you are a huge inspiration. You're an amazing person.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Bless you. Appreciate you. Hello. Hello.
So, obviously you're no stranger to conventions.
No, I love you.
Obviously, for a lot of us not able to travel across the road to see some bigger ones,
Sure.
we used to have Nerd HQ, which I found was an excellent way of engaging.
Thank you. Did anybody ever get out to a Nerd HQ event? Show of hands. One back there. Anybody watch any Nerd HQ online? Only a few hands. Oh man, guys, we live streamed all these panels. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was honestly one of the things I'm most proud of, just being able to create kind of out of nowhere. You know, I was going down to San Diego Comic-Con for years, promoting things like Chuck, and I just kept seeing all these things. I was like, I think we could do that better. I think we could do that. Not that San Diego Comic-Con didn't do a lot of great things, but like there were no dance parties that whole weekend. I was like, that's a sin. That's going to change right now. And so we threw some of the best dance parties. But it was an amazing time, yeah. And I'd love to do more Nerd HQ in the future. I just don't know when.
That was the question as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. As soon as I actually shifted Nerd HQ into a full 501c3, which a nonprofit, and I just gotta find somebody who is gonna go run with that, like be the. I can't run with that ball. Yeah, there's too much on my plate. But as soon as I can find somebody who wants to go be the leader of that, let's go.
I look forward to it.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Yes. Hello, nerdy guy who fixes computers.
I also know who fixes computers. Just want to say that the show that we got, of course, talk about has got me through a lot of dark times, and just want to say thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And my question is because, as you can see, the whole university loves you. What is the best thing about the UK for you, and have you tried a Greggs yet?
And have I tried what?
A Greggs.
What's a Greggs? Is it a beer?
Close.
Is it?
Pasties.
Pasties. Oh, meat pie. It's a meat pie. All right. I'll get there. I'll have one. Well, my favorite part of coming back to England is always the people. Always. I mean, I have wonderful friends in London, and I had the privilege of shooting Thor the... Oh, no, I can't... I had the privilege of shooting the sequel to that movie about that demigod with a hammer. And we shot that in England, and so I made a lot of like lovely friends just from the crew and cast of that as well. So that's what I like coming back for. And the weather is so great. You guys really know how to roll out the great weather. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hello. My question is, if I have the opportunity to join the same character, same film associated with chipmunks,
if I had the opportunity to play another character in a chipmunk movie? Or like bring back Toby? Well, let me ask you a question. Well, obviously you've seen it. Anybody else here seen Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Squeakquel? I love it. I love that many people saw The Squeakquel, but nobody watched Nerd HQ. I really appreciate that. That's a feather in my cap. Listen, it was really fun getting to be a part of the Chipmunkverse. And that was a fun character to play too. I don't know. I don't know where that guy's at in his life right now. Hopefully, he ended up like marrying the teacher, and they've got kids, and you know the chipmunks are off on their own deal. But it was really fun. It was a trip though because you know, spoiler alert, they're not actually real, and so in order to act with them, we had our props people with these long poles with like a claw on the end that had a stuffed chipmunk at the end. And so they would dance the chipmunks around the set while I was, you know, sitting on the couch eating popcorn. And I'm like, you know, and A is over here and T is back here and S is over there. And they'd bounce them around with their blocking, and I would like have to memorize where they would all go because then they would take them all away. And then I would have to remember and use my imagination to be like, what are you doing up there? Hey, don't break that over there. But it was really fun because once you're not a kid anymore, you don't really use your imagination on a really high level like that often, unfortunately. So it keeps you young. So it was a fun challenge. Yeah. Thank you. Hello.
Hey, I'm interested to know when you return to Broadway.
Yes, I would love to return to Broadway. I don't know that the next Broadway show that I'll do is another musical. Not that I don't want to do another musical.
I'm hoping you're doing a musical.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that. But I would like to do some theater that's just a play. Whether a comedy or a drama, I mean, I'm down for both, but when you do a musical, there's a whole other level of anxiety that just pervades your mind because your voice is a huge part of your ability to go and accomplish your job that you have to do 8 times a week, which is pretty gnarly when you like really get into it. And so, so you always having to kind of constantly be aware of it and not losing it. And I'd like to not have to worry about that so much.
Would you ever be interested in releasing your own album down the line?
I don't know when I'm going to release an album, but I think I'm going to record like 3 songs soon.
Well, my partner's back there recording right now. He's singing the 3 songs that you already have, playing on repeat in the car non-stop.
All right, I'll try to get you more so you don't get so bored on the road.
And finally, my sister is a huge fan of that superhero character that you can't talk about.
In the big red suit?
In the big red suit. She doesn't shut up about him. He is her all-time favorite character, and she begged me to tell you that.
Well, he has excellent taste.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Yeah.
Hi. I had like a similar question from like someone before.
Okay.
So I'm 16 and I've recently just left school going into college and I picked acting. So my question is, how did you like start? How did you start acting? How did you get all these amazing roles?
I mean, I would say when I was probably about like 4 years old. When I was 4, I had a couple of